Teyah, great to have you in with us tonight in the studio. First of all, how are you settling in? Because obviously you're dual signed, you've joined us. How's it all going?
It's been good. It's been a great start, to be honest with you. I feel like I've settled in quick. Like I've said it several times before. The girls have been incredibly welcoming, and coming across their two different environments, but they're both benefiting me in different ways, and I'm just loving being in the Watford setup.
Obviously, we've spoken previously on the show about dual signings and how that kind of works. How does it work for you as a player?
So predominantly in the week, I'm training with Arsenal in the mornings, and getting to be with some of the world's best players and kind of learn so much from them. And then once or twice in the evenings, I'll come and join the Watford girls and train with them and kind of prepare for match days. And then obviously at the weekends, being with the girls for the games and try and get the points.
And what's the mood like around camp? We've spoken throughout the season that we always knew it was going to be a tough season because of coming up into this league. It's a very competitive league. It is a jump for any team that comes in. What's it like in and around the team?
The team, I would say, is a very positive environment. The girls are always so supportive of each other, whether it's, for match days or there's girls going through injuries. So I'd say no matter what, it's a great environment to be in. And we just love that it's such a competitive league. Every game you're going into thinking, what can you get out of that, no matter what team you're playing? I think we've shown as well that, we can get results and push, the teams higher in the league. And the aim just for the rest of the season is to keep going and try and pick up as many points as we can.
Yeah, amazing. Let's talk about your footballing journey now. Was that always on the cards? Was football something you always wanted to do?
To be honest with you, it wasn't. I've got a funny story really of how I kind of first started playing football. I was at the shopping centre with my nan when I was probably about 5 or 6 years old. And there were some girls, probably at the time they were players, handing out leaflets to just go to an Arsenal trial, and my nan was the one in the family that loved football at the time, so she pushed me to go. My mum wasn't even so keen, and I went along and I got in, and that's how I started playing for Arsenal in under-9s, and then I also joined my local boys team for the games, and that's how my career started really.
Nice. Obviously you mentioned Arsenal there. Over the last kind of decade, I think they're well and truly up there with the trailblazers in the women's game. When you think of the names like the Alex Scotts and those kind of players that have been around that. Was that something that once you started playing, you were just looking up to and were inspired by?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, at the time, my whole family and even now, they all support Spurs. However, just from joining them and being in that, environment and having those girls to look up to, I started supporting Arsenal. And yeah, it's a very iconic team. I think there's loads of names that you could name that kind of drew my inspiration for the game, certainly.
You mentioned obviously you played in a boys team as well.
Yeah.
How challenging was that? Because I guess that's a story that a lot of young female players have had, because the opportunities weren't there to play in an all-girls team. How was that for you?
Definitely. I mean, I think it's been a very vital part of kind of my development really. I played for the boys school team as well, and I think there's so much girls can learn from the boys game as well in terms of physicality. There's a lot of different aspects, but I think that was certainly a point that I enjoyed, and trying to prove that girls can play football and surprising the parents if ever they were watching.
And was that a positive experience for you in the sense of how the other players reacted to you being in their team?
It was. I mean, initially I think there was probably a few surprise faces. Obviously I was kind of the first girl, and then after you've trained a couple of times and played the games, they obviously kind of saw she kind of can play football and accepted you, and then they were just supportive really from then on.
Amazing, that's great to hear. Obviously over the last 3-4 years, the women's game has grown and grown and grown. How important is it that the fact that we see the WSL games on TV now, and that the girls playing here at Vicarage Road from time to time as well? How important is that?
I think it's massive. I think particularly this season you can kind of see the growth in that. I think it's so important just for girls and people all across the world to be able to watch it. I think the most simple thing is getting the game in front of people's eyes to watch, and the more that happens, I think the more simply the game will grow.
Does it ever dawn on you that there are young girls in the crowd that are watching you dream and are following your footsteps?
I mean, I don't think about it too much, but obviously I know that was once me, and all I just want to do is just keep playing and inspiring the girls.
Amazing.
For the future.
Final question about inspiring that next generation even more. There's going to be young girls watching this that are kind of seeing you sat here and going, I want to be sat there, I want to be out on that pitch playing for Watford. What advice would you give them?
I think never give up. I know there's loads of setbacks in life, there's loads of challenges, but I think if you've got that dream, you've got that passion for football, just go for it. Don't let anything stop you and just work hard. I mean, if you want to achieve, you can. You've just got to put your all into it.
Amazing. Teyah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.